Well, joining us now for more is Peter Pitts. He is the former associate commissioner in the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, now president of the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest, and he joins us from New York. Peter, thanks for coming back. Help us understand this. Pfizer saying it intends to apply for an emergency use authorization 2 months after delivering the second shots to the trial volunteers. How usual or unusual is that for a developing drug to get authorization on that basis?
Well, an emergency use authorization for anything, whether it's a diagnostic or a therapeutic or a vaccine, is highly unusual, period. For a vaccine, it's exceptionally so, but we're living in extraordinary times, obviously. The 90% number is pretty amazing. And what that means is 90% of the people that received the vaccine got COVID-19, didn't get COVID-19 versus the placebo arm. So 9 to 1. That's pretty outrageous. That shows solid technology. What's interesting about the Pfizer vaccine, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, is that it uses a new type of technology called mRNA, messenger RNA, which is safer to produce. It's quicker to manufacture. You can scale it up to a global scale faster as well. So a real triple play victory here if the data holds true.
Well, if the data holds true, and of course Pfizer has the resources of any company does to scale up to get this kind of vaccine to market fairly quickly. But then given what regulatory framework there is, how quickly could it come to market?
Well, I think, based on what's happening right now and the FDA's ability to put all of its resources against this product, I would suspect that we'll have a vaccine for medical workers and essential workers possibly as early as the end of this year. But certainly by the first quarter of 2021, February, March, certainly before Passover, I think that we'll see a large rollout, certainly in the U.S. beyond that, to include teachers, other high-risk people, essential workers, and essentially the entire population. So our mission now is to make sure that Americans are prepared and anxious and excited about getting this vaccine, as opposed to being somewhat apprehensive about the science behind it.
Right. Now, this is a 2-shot vaccine, meaning you have to take a shot and then a follow-up shot. So there is a process there. I did read that it has to be stored in very cold temperatures. How much will this complicate, for example, application and distribution, especially when it has to, say, be moved outside the U.S. to a country like Israel, and even more so, I guess, developing countries?
Sure. Well, the logistics here are just enormous. The U.S. military is helping on that front. They're the best logisticians in the world. But I think that what we've learned here is, beyond the tough science behind the tough manufacturing, is an equally hard task of getting the vaccine, which requires significant refrigeration, to where it's needed. So I think what right now is what's needed is not so much an international collaboration on developing a vaccine. We're there. What we need is an international collaboration on smart logistics so that it gets to whomever needs it, wherever they are in the world, as quickly as possible.
Right. Now, of course, as you said, 90% at this stage. Usually when a drug, or let's say even a vaccine, is at this stage of development, how likely is it that it proves its efficiency beyond this stage, or at this stage there could be, for example, the development of side effects that could impede its coming to market?
Well, on the negative side, the immunogenicity aspects of this vaccine, how it can really impact the body on a molecular level, has been excellent. We haven't seen any really serious adverse events, so that's a big plus. Secondly, we haven't really seen what you expect to see from a vaccine, injection site sensitivity, flu-like symptoms, mostly absent. So this is largely due to the new type of technology, and of course, to the Pfizer scientists, everybody that's worked with them. So I think that going forward, we're going to see that replicate itself. We're going to see high efficacy and a very safe vaccine as well. And that's exactly what people need to hear to build up their confidence and their excitement about getting vaccinated. And clearly, a second shot is not optimal. You'll lose some people between first and the second shots. But as we move forward and develop additional vaccines from other companies, I think we'll be looking for single-shot vaccines, and we'll get there. That's simply going forward and allowing the science to take its proper course.
All right. Well, it does have to sound promising. Fingers crossed at this stage. Peter Pitts, formerly of the FDA, now president of the Center for Medicine in the Public Interest. Thank you for joining us again on I-24 News.